Hello guys and welcome back to another video. I apologize for the background noise, but do not allow that to distract you from what I have to tell you today. So I've just finished reading The Richest Man in Babylon and I've come to basically share my experience with luck. And one of the main reasons why I want to say this is because a lot of people believe in this life that the only way for you to achieve some form of wealth is for you to either do grotesque, inhumane things and exploit people in society, or you have to be a lucky person. Now, from reading The Richest Man in Babylon, it's given me a whole nother frame on how to articulate luck. Obviously, for me, luck hasn't been a thing where it's like, it's given to anybody for no reason. For me, it's always been, to a certain degree, you can earn luck. Now I can actually articulate that and give my exact reasoning behind that. So first I'll start with myself and my experience with luck. So in 2023, I found out about something called Etsy. And the reason why I stumbled upon this was because two of my friends, and one of them who's currently my business partner, they came to me and my sort of network of close friends, which I created when we were going from sixth form into university and just going into adulthood. Once we left the gates of, we entered the gates of manhood. And they came to us and said, okay guys, we found this opportunity. We've been searching for business models from about a year now. Why don't all of us just jump into Etsy and start dropshipping and make some money? And I put a smiley face on there because in the beginning, Etsy was quite good. And it could be seen as lucky because Etsy was where I made my first ever £10,000. Additionally, I think I made around £16. Well, not even I think. I made around 16K within around 2 to 3 months. Because we got in towards the end of 2023, which was around October, at least I got in around August. So I had my products ready for quarter four. So if you don't know what quarter four is, obviously it's the fourth quarter of the year. And around that time, you have Boxing Day, Christmas. You have all these times when people are going to be spending money, especially during the winter. People are more likely to spend on things that they can purchase in-house. And for my stores, which I was selling was slippers and ladies' leather bags and Christmas ornaments, but in-house ornaments. Something like this, for example. This was from one of my stores. And then some slippers, which I gave to some of my family members for Christmas. And from stumbling upon this opportunity, which some may look as lucky, it allowed me to make substantial amounts of money, a lot of money than I've ever made before in my life. Sadly, I did spend a lot of the money, not even spend a lot of it. I spent all of it on dumb things and I wasn't quite wise with the money. However, it could be seen as lucky because I was in the right place at the right time to make a lot of money, especially since I got into Etsy around quarter four, because usually Q1, so quarter one, quarter two is quite slow, and everything you do is pumping up for quarter three to get you ready for quarter four. So us getting in at quarter four was able to capitalize. Then lo and behold, by quarter one, going into 2024, it was quite dark. A lot of money was wasted. A lot of money was lost because our stores started to get banned. But in the beginning, it was lucky. And anybody else who would be in the same situation as me would say that they got lucky because I didn't really plan to be actually dropshipping in quarter four. It didn't happen like that. I never said to myself, quarter four, at this end of this year, I'm going to be dropshipper. It was more so that, well, especially by that time, I was actually being a waiter, I was working and creating content. Because I had this network group, I was enabled to, well, at least they came to me and offered me the opportunity to get onto this thing, and I got onto this thing and then capitalized from it. Because naturally, I wasn't anybody who deserved to have £10,000, 100%. I didn't really have the skills. But I learned the skills upon Etsy where I was able to capitalize and make the money from there. Then the truth started to show. The fact that we didn't really deserve the money which we accumulated. Because towards the end of 2023, going into 2024, we discovered something called meme coins. Well, it was my first time discovering meme coins. I'm pretty sure my business partner now and my other friend, they found out about it a little bit earlier than me because I don't use Twitter. So they came to this conclusion and said, well, my business partner at least, he said, why don't we get into crypto? And I said, I've been burnt by crypto, so I'm not really a fan of it. But you know what? We're making roughly around £200 to £300 per day. Whatever money we put into crypto, either it's going to blow up and make us rich, or we can go sleep, wake up, make the money again. Now, if you've been an attentive listener, you heard me say that our stores started to get banned. So, in our mind, every single day we'll make £200 to £300, but our stores started to get banned. Lo and behold, our river of gold started to dry up. and our expenditure didn't decrease because we still kept putting money into the crypto and into the meme coins. And to make things worse, we started to put more in because we could see that we were losing money. So we said this is our only way to make more money. So at that point in time, I would say that was quite an unlucky experience, because out of all the meme coins there was, the thing about it is that I did get a 3x, a 4x. We got a lot of X's. We even entered a meme coin which got up to, I think it was 1.2 billion market cap, and we got in it quite early. So we could have seen a 5x, 10x. But the issue is that, anyone who's probably thinking I'm lying, is Brett. It was, if you don't know meme coins, it's Brett. When we got into it, we kept taking our money out, moving it to other meme coins that had hype, moving it to other meme coins that looked better than Brett, or that looked like it was going to do way better, or everyone was hyping it, they had a good dev, all these other things. Strong community. So we started transferring money from Brett, or transferring money from different coins, or transferring money that from our bank accounts into these other meme coins. And lo and behold, we got rug pulled after rug pulled after rug pulled after rug pulled. And that was quite an unlucky experience. And that was quite a dumb experience. And truly, it could have been dodged if we actually tried to position ourselves in the right positions to have more knowledge on meme coins, also be more emotionally intelligent, rather than reacting off our emotions, seeing that this is a strong community coin. We actually looked and said, hold on a minute, let's be real. You're going to be losing a lot of money here, and don't just randomly put 2 bills inside of a random coin out of nowhere. We are quite subject to that. We did that a couple times. 2 bills out of nowhere, just 2 bills short like that. Now then, to move on. Because obviously around this time in 2024, my Etsy stores have been banned. My meme coins obviously were getting rug pulled, so I have no money. But along this time period, I'm a member at David Lloyd's. And if you don't know what David Lloyd's is, it's basically a luxury gym, luxury country club. Not really luxury. After working there, it's not really that luxury, but they ramp it up as this amazing luxury. It's quite bourgeois. It's quite middle class. It's good. I would recommend it for the spa, the leisure stuff, but is it like insane, like top 1%? Not really, but still, that's not what we're here for. But I was still a member there, paying £229 per month. Now, in the month of September, my last Etsy store got banned. And that store was supposed to pay me out £1,000. Banned it, and the worst part is, I paid money towards fulfilling. So fulfillment was basically where I would pay my supplier or pay the company which I was sending money to or ordering shipment from, so that they can send the stock to the clients or the people who have ordered it, the customers. So I've now paid for that, and then the payment which I'm supposed to receive back so I can make my profit, make my revenue, and then my profit be on top of what I spent towards the costs, all of that money just got locked away because the store got banned. So now I'm in red in my credit card, I'm in red in my bank account, and I now have to also pay for David Lloyd's, which is coming up in a couple of days. So I'm like, God, Father, remember me. I'll never forget that day. It was downstairs in my living room. I'm on my laptop, and to make it worse, the way that they banned me was so painful because I refreshed the tab. Bear in mind, I just got a sale. I refreshed the tab to actually see whether the sale was proper or not. Bang. All I see is red. And what that meant was there was a red banner that said, you've been suspended. And that was like a bomb to my face. And a bomb to my bank account, of course. So at that point in time, double whammy. And I'm thinking, what the heck can I even do? But I'm like, you know what? There's nothing more I can do than go and pray. I remember I left my house, closed my laptop, walked outside my house. My mom said, where are you going? Because man, she just see me shout. I didn't react calmly. I shouted saying, no. Because obviously now my store's been banned. I've closed my laptop. I went to the park. I just said, God, remember me, man. I just started praying, speaking in tongues in the park. Came back home and said, you know what? Whatever happens, it's happened now. It's all in God's hands. I'm pretty sure I had like around... I had no money, but I'm trying to remember. I don't know how I survived, but I survived. Then I made it to the beginning of October, and I applied to work at David Lloyd's. And the position that I applied for was for basically, let's say there's 3 tiers in this role that I was applying for. I was applying for the lowest role, and I never got accepted. I went through, done the interview, tried to speak to the managers. I was hustling to try and get the job, never got anything. I got interviewed by the person who was the supervisor, and I got interviewed by the department or senior manager. Them two together. Never went through. About a week now comes, and I have to come and pay for David Lloyd's. I've paid for it somehow, some way to now, by the grace of God. I don't know where the money came from, just the grace of God. And I'm like, God, if I don't get this job, I'm finished. I don't know what I'm going to do. Them times, as I said, I was a waiter, but it was agency shifts. So I could apply for those shifts, but there was practically like once a blue moon because I became friends with the old supervisors for the waiting job, but they all left. So now I didn't know any of these new people, so they're unlikely to give me shifts because they don't know me. And I said, God, please, I just need somehow, some way, show up and show off. So the person who done my interview with the senior manager, the supervisor, she ended up leaving, and the senior manager came to me and found me in the club saying, I've been looking for you. I looked at your CV, saw that you had managerial experience, which was from me hiring somebody to help me with Etsy and hiring out as literally one of my friends to help me manage my stores. Alongside, as a content creator, I had my editing team. I put that onto my CV. They said, we've seen you had managerial expertise, so we're going to hire you. Bam. So for the role which I was applying for, ended up becoming the supervisor for that role. And lo and behold, from then, you can see that it was a quote-unquote lucky situation, because realistically, the only reason why I got that role, apart from the grace of God, was because I was a member there. And realistically, I was one more month and I wouldn't have been able to be a member there because I wouldn't be able to afford it anymore. But in that 1 month, being able to pay for that membership, and to make things even more funny, even more quote-unquote lucky, the guy had to hire somebody for the Friday. He's been looking for me for the whole week. I didn't go to the gym from, usually because I was going David Lloyd's and Pure Gym. Was I? No, I wasn't going Pure Gym at that point in time. But I didn't go to the gym from the Monday to the Wednesday. And I came in on the Wednesday, and luckily I saw him. And then he said, I need to hire somebody for the Friday. Can you do an interview today? Done the interview with him. Then he said, can you come back again later on and do the interview with the general manager? Done that and got employed. If I was not there on that day, I would not have seen him. If I didn't see him that day, I would not have got the role. And to now, I probably I don't even know what I'd be doing right now. So we could look at that situation and say it was a lucky situation. And trust me, I'm saying all of this and putting a lot of depth into these stories, just so when it comes to me finalizing exactly what luck is, you can see that what I'm saying is truly true. Then, whilst working at David Lloyd's from 2024 October to May 2025, which is where I made a video on my second channel talking about how I left to focus on my business, Clinic Flow arose. At a point in time when I joined the business, it wasn't Clinic Flow, it was called Dental Flow. And essentially, Dental Flow was going to be, well, it wasn't as verbatim as what I'm about to say, but in essence, it was systemizing the dental niche. So any dental clinic that wanted to systemize or outsource their lead gen, their customer relationship management, and create a post-sale system, that's what Dental Flow would do. I joined the business. Me and my business partner started working together. We finalized the offer and we updated it to Clinic Flow. Now, the only reason why I joined Clinic Flow, whilst I was working at David Lloyd's, I went to Paris and, well, even let's go a little bit before that, whilst my business partner was building Dental Flow, he was asking me certain questions about how he should be creating Dental Flow. And lo and behold, me and him going back and forth, he was saying to me, bro, why don't you just join the business and sell it with me? And I was like, nah, I'm not really, I'll create my own business. Because the whole point is, as I was just creating content, I said, I also want to have a tangible business, which is why I've done the coaching side. But I said, as much as I want to do the coaching, I would rather have a tangible business and just create content as something that I do for free, for fun. And eventually down the line, I can offer something. But for the meantime, it's more for the enjoyment, the love of the game. Realistically, the love of the game. So I said, I'm going to create a business. But I was like, what business am I going to create? I'm going to have to think of an offer and do everything from scratch. But I said, you know what? I will do it eventually. So he asked me that one time. I said, I'll think about it and I'll get back to him. Lo and behold, I never got back to him. Then fast forward, I went to Paris. And whilst in Paris, I was looking at the lifestyle, looking at everything around. I was like, I would truly want to have internet money to the point where I can just go anywhere at any time. Like, if I could stay in Paris for 2 months and just live in Paris and just enjoy the life in Paris, eat steak and eggs, steak and chips, drink some red wine here and there, go out, go on a lovely walks, have a cup of tea underneath the Eiffel Tower, go to the top, visit all of the amazing museums. If I could do all of that, that would make life, I would love my life even more than I love it now. And I was like, nah, now is the time. I'm more motivated than ever to start a business. Then he called me again and me and him started talking more. Then he was like, bro, again, why don't you just join me? You can do the sales, I need someone to do the sales anyway. You can do it with me. I was like, you know what, I'll think about it. And when I hung up, I was like, what's stopping me from doing this? This is my opportunity to actually join the business, which I don't want to create a business from scratch. If I can learn the business and I truly believe that I can sell sand to the Arabs and sell water to a fish, bun it. Let me join the business with him. Lo and behold, I joined the business. Now, I will look at that and say it's a factor of quote unquote luck, because from the first time that he asked me to where he asked me again, it was at least a span of 1 to 2 months. So realistically, he could have found somebody else and I could have lost the opportunity. But because he didn't find anybody else, because he kept coming back to me and saying, bro, do it with me, it enabled me to basically get into the business, which is going to make me a millionaire. I make my business partner a millionaire by the grace of God. Only because I did not get punished by the spirit of procrastination at that point in time, which I'll touch upon later. And then to finalize my experience with luck. Sorry, bear with me. I'm going to move this out of the way because it keeps waddling. Yes. The final part, RT Hair and Beauty Parlor. Now, this is my mom's business, and this was our first ever client for Clinic Flow. And the reason why I would say I had a good experience with luck here, because for the first 1 to 2 months with Clinic Flow, or like the first month, from May to April. So I left my job May, but I started working on Clinic Flow within late April, going into, late April. No. From March. I made the decision in March. So I believe I was doing Clinic Flow in March. We started working on Clinic Flow together from March, April, May, up until August now. For the time that we were working on the business together, we were only focused on dental clinics. Then we shifted, sorry, my chair is broken. Then we shifted into aesthetic clinics and dental clinics. And that's when I started doing a lot of the cold calling videos, which you can see on my second channel. And then after about 1 to 2 months of failed outreach or landing clients, but they were cheap clients that weren't going to be invested into the business, or there were people who were saying, they'll confirm it and don't come back to us. And it looked like we're going to have to, quote unquote, sell our souls as Christians. It's like, we were going to have to do fake testimonials. I was like, God, please, I don't want to do this. Find somehow, some way, show up and show off so I don't have to do this. And I was discussing with my mom one time and she was like, wait, why don't you guys just do this for me? And then I was like, hold on a minute. Why don't we do it for you? Especially because one of the clients who was trying to land was a client she does the person's hair. So I said, imagine we built her whole entire system up to the point where she's getting a lot of women coming in, getting their hair done. She could get aesthetic clinic owners. She could get dental clinic owners. She could get other hairstylists in the business. And she could literally say to them, oh, my system was built by my son. And this is his business. And all of that is over there is free referrals and free by word of mouth and almost guaranteed customers, because my mom does those people's hair. And because I'll be flowing in and through, I'll be able to talk to these people. Now, all because we had that conversation together, we was able to land my mom as a client, as our first client. And since then, it's gone way above that now, where there's parts that I do externally from Clinic Flow, to the point where now I've labeled myself as the operations and marketing director, because the whole plan now is to transform the business to the point where we franchise, because the amount of knowledge that I'm accumulating will allow me to actually shock the hair and beauty niche with an offer that, by the grace of God, has been installed into my mind. Now, the whole reason I've gone through and explained this whole list from Etsy, meme coins, David Lloyd's, Clinic Flow, RT Hair and Beauty Parlors, because I want to show you one underlining thing here. And that is me capitalizing on the opportunities. And also me being in a position for the opportunities. Now, let's say in Etsy 2024, when they came to me and spoke to me about this opportunity, I disregarded it. I would never have capitalized on the opportunity, because I would not have been in the position, or at least been in the frame, to be able to actually capitalize on opportunity. And additionally, I took action. With meme coins, it was a negative thing. So I'm not even going to talk about that part. But then with David Lloyd's, Clinic Flow, RT Hair and Beauty Parlor, I took action. With the Clinic Flow sector, we could say I was a little bit slower and I procrastinated on it. But when the time came and luck striked again, I took action. Now, the things that I want to say to you, it's these just four quotes from The Richest Man in Babylon. The story is by a man named Arcade. And I don't want to spoil the book too much because I highly recommend you guys go read it. If you are an entrepreneur, no matter what, I just highly recommend read it. It's very good for the mind. The story is of a man named Arcade, the richest man in Babylon. He's going through talking to a congregation of men, and they ask him, how can I become a lucky man? How can I just consistently be lucky? Because one guy basically found a purse of gold on the floor and he found a lot of money inside of it. So he said, how can he be lucky again? And the others were saying, we don't know how, but how can we accumulate lucky or become lucky, Arcade? How? And he led on to say, after they gave all of their examples of opportunities where they could have been lucky and opportunities where they weren't lucky, to attract good luck to one's self, it is necessary to take advantage of opportunities. Good luck follows opportunity. Now, what I want to show you once again is the fact that all of these were just some of the opportunities, or at least the main opportunities that happened to me within my life for me to be able to capitalize on these sectors. Now, if when these opportunities came to me, I said, you know what, let me wait till next year. If the manager came to me and said, I said, no, I'm fine. You know what, I want the other role, the role underneath that. Or I said, no, I'm not really focused on trying to get that right now. Give me a week to decide. The day when he came to me and he saw me, he said, can you do this interview today? I said, yes. Yes, I can. I'm ready right now. Finished that interview. I went home. I live about 40 minutes. I was walking to the gym at that point in time. I live about 40 minutes away. He called me later on in the night and he said, oh, can you come back? The general manager's ready to do an interview with you. I said, yes. I said, yes, I can. I'm more than ready. I'm happy. I'm thrilled to come. I came back, had the second interview and passed that interview, and I was starting from the Friday. With Clinic Flow, I did say, yes, there was parts when I was procrastinating. But when it was time for me to capitalize on the opportunity, I took action. I capitalized on it. With RC Hair and Beauty Parlor, for when my mom asked me, within that same day, we had her sub account built. We had ideas flowing. Because the whole point is, good luck can be enticed by accepting opportunities. And the most important part, which I want to end with, is men of action are favored by the goddess of good luck. Now, I'm not a Babylonian. I don't believe in their goddess or anything like that. But the whole point which I want to say to you guys is, if you are somebody who struggles to be lucky, who struggles to, I'm just going to go there, who struggles to be lucky, the whole issue is, when luck is in front of you, when opportunity is in front of you, for you to capitalize and experience this luck, you turn your back from it. You procrastinate. And inside The Richest Man in Babylon, they said one of the worst things that you can do, I probably should have wrote that down as well, but one of the worst things that hold you back from experiencing luck is that procrastination. When procrastination, or at least when an opportunity is put in front of you and you take all the time in the world, or you say, no, I'm not ready, I don't want to do it now, and you allow the opportunity to pass by, you just let your opportunity go away and you've let your luck go away. I never knew this was going to be a good experience. I never knew David Lord was going to be a good experience. I didn't know Clinic Flow was going to be a good experience. I never knew this RCM Beauty Parlor would be a good experience. But the whole point is, I allowed the opportunities to come. I never knew the meme codes were going to be a bad experience. I allowed the opportunities to come, and I found out what was going to happen, or at least I received what was going to happen afterwards. The whole point is, you get luck, you learn a lesson, or you experience nothing. And for me, I'd rather, the only two ways you get the first two, which is you get the luck or you learn the lesson, and both of them are positives, is by experiencing the thing and accepting the opportunity. Or you get nothing, and that is by turning the opportunity away. So when these opportunities come, I'm not saying don't think about anything, every single opportunity, run towards it, because that's the naivety of youth. But when it looks like it could be you could capitalize from it, or some sort of gain can come from it, do not run away from it. Think about it, pray on it, and take action. And take action as fast as possible as soon as you get that answer.